So despite being in a very deep, debilitating depression rut to where I've struggled to do anything else other than lay on my couch, I felt like this advertisement was too important not to talk about, especially in the political climate that we're in, so let's talk about it, because this is literal eugenics slapping everyone in the face, and the reason why I say this so bluntly is because the only people that I've seen actually call this eugenics and say what needs to be said about this advertisement are disabled people and women of color, the two demographics of people who are literally the most impacted by eugenics. Because any other video that I've seen talking about this advertisement have talked about the comparisons to the Brooke Shields 80s Calvin Klein ad, or have talked about how boring, how vanilla, how overly sexualized Sydney Sweeney is in this advertisement. And I just want to say, as somebody who has a deep special interest as an autistic person in digital media literacy, and somebody who has extensively studied digital media literacy in my Master's of Education program, this type of propaganda, because that's what this is a piece of propaganda that will be written about in history books, because it's that bad. But this literal piece of propaganda that is being shielded by sex appeal to divert and distract from the message, to cushion the blow of the message, that is deliberately by design. Because this message of, her saying that everything that she has is attributed to her genes, she's not talking about her blue genes, she's talking about her genes, and then saying that hers are blue, she's not talking about her blue genes, she's talking about her blue eyes, and then saying her eyes are up here. Like, it's not a coincidence that this message is being delivered by a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman. This is literal eugenics being pulled out of the 1940s Yahtzee playbook. And the fact that so many of you have missed that because of the sex appeal and because of the controversies surrounding Sydney Sweeney due to the bathwater controversy and how she's specifically portraying herself and choosing to portray herself in media, has allowed American Eagle to be able to put out an ad like this. And I will also add too, another big proponent as to why American Eagle was able to put out this advertisement specifically was the direct consequence and cause and effect of Jubilee's fascist video that they recently put out. Had they not platformed those 20 fascists, those 20 white supremacists, and allowed that video to be posted, we would not be getting ads like this. Like, clear as day. Eugenics in our faces. Because the more and more that fascism is in our faces, the more and more it's normalized. And the more and more it's normalized, the more and more it's put in our faces. And so it normalizes that types of propaganda like this are okay when it's not. And then it furthers the dehumanization process of people impacted by eugenics like this. So disabled people, people of color. And it's not a coincidence that an advertisement like this came out directly after an executive order was signed to criminalize homelessness, to criminalize mental illnesses, and to institutionalize people who struggle with both. I've talked extensively on my page about how digital media and real life have a symbiotic relationship with one another, and the fact that we live in a world now where we cannot exist without digital media, and how it influences real life in such a way that it doesn't exist in a vacuum. So much so that it has now become, like, attention has become a form of currency in how we spend our time and what we devote our time to, because of how deeply influential digital media has become, because it has the power with viral sounds, viral moments, viral trends to influence our thought, our rhetoric, our behaviors, and our actions. And so if we are not carefully conscious and critical consumers of what is in front of us, if we are not taking deliberate action to question the credibility of an advertisement like this, for example, we are going to end up on a pipeline that we don't want to go down, because this pipeline is fucking dangerous. The last thing I want to say is for the "it's not that deep" crowd. As a former English language arts teacher, I can promise you it is that deep. There's always going to be a deeper meaning behind a message if you are looking for it. And specifically when it comes to desensitizing yourself and not looking for the message, that's when it's the most dangerous, because again, you're probably going to end up on a very dangerous pipeline that you don't want to be on, especially when it crashes and burns.